welcome to SCARE. Thank you for joining us for Momentum 3.3. I'm Taylor, I'm the Youth Programs Coordinator here at SCARE, and today we're going to be going over work-life balance. So if you've been part of this series for a while, you might know that this is part 3 in our 4-part series, and we do have Momentum 1.0, 2.0, and now we're in the 3.0 series. As always, I'm going to start off with the definition of momentum and the description for why we use this as the theme for our career training series. Momentum is movement. Momentum is energy. When movement and energy meet, they become your vision. As you visualize your future, your visions become your first steps. First steps become goals that you create, you can realistically achieve because you set your pace. You are the momentum for your focus, your passion, your goals for your family. As you create your momentum, you naturally begin to take steps needed to visualize your goals as actions and positive energy for your future. Be kind to yourself. And I think something that's important to remember with just the theme of momentum is that every step or every task that you do, no matter how small, it still gets you going in the right direction to help reach your goals. And so that's the important part about momentum, is keeping a sustainable pace to be able to reach whatever your goals are. So if you haven't already, I highly recommend that you watch Momentum 3.1 and 3.2. And our next one will be coming up in September. So 3.1 was released in December of 2023. We had 3.2 in March. Now we're finally in June, getting ready for that summertime with Momentum 3.3. And then the final one in this 3.0 series will be in September. So just for some quick review, for Momentum 3.1, we went over the topic of career alternatives. So in this workshop, we briefly went over some tips on how to start a business, some tips and resources to help get started. We went over types of networking, volunteering, and how to take advantage of these opportunities to help put you in the right direction. For Momentum 3.2, we went over resumes and certifications. And so in this one, we touched topics such as certifications, adding experience to your resume, even when you don't feel like you have the right experience. We went over apprenticeships, resume building, how to find your skills, and resume recommendations. Which leads us to today's topics, which is going to be on work-life balance and how to improve family time. And so today we'll be going over work-life balance, the importance of it, and what we can do to make it a healthier balance. We're going to go over the importance of family time. And of course, since it's summertime, we're going to include some summer activity ideas for your family and some summertime resources around San Diego County. So maybe you've heard of the term work-life balance, but what is it? So work-life balance is when your work and non-work activities are balanced and fit with your goals and priorities. And so, we use the word work, could be schooling, has a lot of different meanings for how we interpret it. But the idea is that we feel balanced based off of whatever obligations that we have in our life and the direction that we want our life to go. So there are actually a lot of benefits, not only for yourself, but for the people around you for improving your work-life balance. So when you have a healthier work-life balance where you don't feel like you're working entirely too much, that everything else feels like there's not enough time for it, or vice versa, if you have a healthier work-life balance, it can help with lowering stress. It can help improve physical and mental health. And then this is a benefit not only for you, but maybe for your school or work. Oftentimes, when you find the right balance, you're more likely to be productive and engaged, and more likely to stay at that job or school. So some studies actually found that people who felt very imbalanced when it came to that work-life balance had a higher chance of quitting that job or school just due to a lot of the stress. And also, whenever you have that nice balance, you have improved relationships with the people around you. So we keep talking about work-life balance, but what is it that gets in the way? Right, so this is a very general list. It's not a one size fits all, so everyone has a lot of different factors that affect their work-life balance. And so some of the general things might be stress, time, right? There's never enough time in the world, workload, prioritization, and what other obligations you might have. And so maybe you feel like you're working too much. Sometimes if deadlines are coming up for certain things or there's certain due dates for whatever tasks you have, it might affect the way that you treat the other tasks in your life. Or maybe now suddenly, chores and household things aren't getting done as much, or spending time with family has really gone down. And so it's really important to find a healthy balance in order to feel like you're able to touch all those parts of your life in the way that fits your needs, your obligations, and all of that. So here's a quick exercise just to understand what your balance might be like. So feel free to pause the video if you ever need, but here's some questions to think about. What aspects of your life feel imbalanced? Do you feel like it's working too much or not enough? Do you feel like it's household stuff that just is never ending? Maybe it's stuff with bills or children, right? Maybe it feels like too much of something, not enough of another thing. So just take a second to write that down and try to understand what you feel like is imbalanced in your life. Next question to think about is what is contributing to this imbalance, right? So if it does feel like maybe your workload is a little imbalanced, does it have to do with the hours? Does it have to do with, you know, time management? Does it have to do with other people? Can things be delegated to other people? Can other people help you out? That's not just work, it can be with household stuff or family things, right? So just understanding where the imbalance is coming from. Next question to think about is when I'm with family, I'm thinking about blank, right? So just trying to understand what thoughts you're having when you are supposed to be having family time or even fun time. Do you keep finding yourself back into thought cycles about bills, about work, about tasks? Just try to find what's on your mind the most, because that can also help you understand how your balance is doing. And lastly, just take a second to think about how you feel about your current balance. Are you actually, happy with your current work-life balance? Do you feel like it's maybe a little imbalanced, but could be better, could be worse? Maybe it's something that you really, really are encouraged to improve right now. So just think about how you feel. So now that we've taken some time to evaluate our own work-life balance, here are some steps to organize and improve balance. And so the biggest tip is to start small and be realistic because things are not going to change overnight. And I know we're all busy people. It's impossible to do it all immediately. So start small and do the things that you can do and the things that you can control. Not everything is in our own control. So just understand what we are able to be flexible with. So first of all, you can write down things that you want to keep doing or that you do want to do every day. And so it can be as small as eating breakfast, stretch for 5 minutes, eat dinner with family, watch an episode of your favorite show. And I say every day, but it could be just more of a scheduled thing. Maybe once a week you want to have a family dinner, or once a week you want to have a family movie night. So just write down some things that you want to start incorporating into your current work-life balance. Next, go ahead and write down things that bring you joy or make you feel better. Right? So maybe it's something easy like music, hot tea, crafting, time with friends, taking walks in nature. Because again, a lot of the work-life imbalance, it just leads to a lot of stress. So it's really important to understand the things that make you feel better, the things that bring you joy. I know for me, if I'm maybe feeling a little too stressed out, I will listen to the Beach Boys. That's my guilty pleasure for today. I'll listen to the Beach Boys. Their music always puts me in a better mood. It gives me a little more energy. And so that's just a small act that I can do that helps bring me kind of back to the present moment. And just going over some more steps to organize. Evaluate what tasks are most important and which ones can wait. I know that I'm really guilty of this because there are often times where I feel like, for example, the entire house needs to be cleaned immediately. And when in reality, it's also pulling away from other tasks that I need to do. So now I'm not cooking dinner, or maybe now I'm not eating the healthiest. But I've had to change my mindset a little bit to understand that, okay, the whole house doesn't need to be cleaned immediately, but maybe I can figure out a few tasks like taking out the trash that's really important or doing the dishes. And then I can still have time to do some other things. And so in a similar way, just evaluate what tasks are important to you and which ones can wait. Next, you can create a routine or a ritual for when you start the day and then when you're ending the workday. I know it can be really hard to keep the work thoughts only at work, right? Oftentimes, if you're at school or work or worrying about things, it can follow you throughout the day. So just having a routine or ritual to start the day a certain way to kind of get you right in the mode, but also when you're ending the workday, it'll help kind of create this system in your brain to basically give a sign to your body that, okay, now it's time for fun or to relax or to switch to household tasks, right? So maybe on the commute back from work, you listen to some music you enjoy or, scroll through Instagram. Maybe that can be a nice way for your brain to make that switch into a de-stress mode. Next, write down your motivation and the reasons you want to improve your work-life balance. It can be so hard to stay on task with the things that you want to change and improve in your daily life. So having something to reference to remember why you want to make it better, for example, could be, I want to improve my work-life balance so I have more time at home or more time with family, friends. And so write down your own motivations because that's going to entirely help you keep to these tasks and to these plans. Also, as much as we schedule time for all the really maybe sometimes boring, important tasks, it's also important to schedule fun time or relaxing time or dinner time or time with friends or family. And so it seems kind of funny sometimes to schedule it in, but if you have a calendar, put it in your calendar, watch one movie on Friday, make it part of your important to-do list. And also, last but definitely not least, ask for help whenever you're able to, whether it's at work or at home, from family and friends, or from places like Scare or Tribal TANF. So that's what community is for, and no one's able to do it alone. And so whenever you're able to ask for help, please do it, and it'll really help to improve that work-life balance. And some small things to keep in mind pertaining to work-life balance is that balance is not always 50-50. It's not always going to be like 50% work, 50% personal life, right? Just depending on the demands that you have at that moment. So work-life balance will look different depending on life's demands. So you might have a really big project for work or something that's just a really busy time. That might require a little bit more of your time than usual that week. But for example, maybe there's a different time. Maybe you have a child that is finishing up school, graduating from middle school or high school, right? That might be an obligation, an event that kind of changes the balance. That's going to be something that you want to focus on that week. So it's not always going to be this one size fits all for every single day and every week, but it's just more of a practice about understanding what tasks are more important at that time and what you can do to be flexible to keep a healthy balance still. It's also important to keep in mind and just constantly evaluate what you can change to improve the balance. So like I said, we can't change everything around us or control everything around us, but if we understand what we can be flexible with and what we can change, that'll really help us out too. And then lastly, be open about your needs with the people around you. So if you have kids, Be open and tell them that you have some things to focus on first before you can take them to the park or take them to the mall, wherever it is they might be asking to go. So they can also understand what your needs are. So now, kind of shifting a little bit from just the regular work-life balance, we're going to talk a little bit more about family time and the importance of intentional family time. So there is a little bit of a difference between just family time. We could all be at home at the same time, and that still counts for something. That still means a lot. But it's also very important to have intentional family time where you guys are together, trying to be fully present and focused on each other, and actually taking the time to give each other attention. Right. So time spent between parents and children not only increases the child's well-being, but it also helps your own well-being. So this intentional family time will also really help to strengthen the emotional bond between you and your child. And oftentimes it leads to better communication. You'll be more comfortable with each other, understand so much more about each other, and keep learning to communicate better. There have been some studies that have shown that more and increased family time can help to lessen behavioral problems in some cases. And for some people, it can also lead to a better performance in school. And take all this with a grain of salt too. Every child has their own needs and own situations going on also. But that is something that intentional family time can also help with. So now that we've talked about some intentional family time, here are some ideas for some quick home activities that don't really require too much traveling or too much money, right? So even if you feel like you don't have the time, these are some small things that can really mean a lot for this intentional family time. So for example, if you're already cooking or preparing, dinner, maybe dessert, snacks, have your child get involved. You guys can cook a meal together. You can help out with whatever tasks are maybe age appropriate for them. And then they can be proud of what they're making. And it's time together, they're learning, and then you guys can eat together. All right, so even eating, whether it's a snack, whether it's breakfast, dinner, eating together is another really good time and space for that quality family time. Movie nights, always a good option, especially during the summertime. Something that I've been getting into a little bit more recently is conversation cards. So when you're around people all the time, sometimes it can be hard to find new questions to ask, especially with children. And so you can actually find online different conversation cards, and it'll have some different options as far as age appropriate questions or even relationships too. So you can find conversation cards between parents and kids. And what it does is just you guys can maybe make a goal to pull a few of those cards every night and answer the questions together. It could be as little as, if you could travel to any planet, where would you go to? Or if you could turn into any animal, right? These silly questions, but it's really fun and it can lead to better conversations. And also can help to strengthen the relationship that way. There are also some other activities that are really easy to do at home, such as puzzles, board games, and just easy art activities. The internet has so many options for some really affordable and quick art activities to do with the kids. So I encourage you to look those up and find some things to dive into together. So now, if you're trying to go out and about an adventure with family, here are some ideas for places to go. Movie theater. You guys can go watch the latest movies out there. It's always nice to go to a park, maybe walk around, bring little snacks to picnic, go to museum. And I would really encourage you to also look up some deals with museums because sometimes if it's before a certain time or during certain days, there'll be deals for the ticket prices. Also keep an eye out for library events, farmers markets, beaches, and lakes. And I did want to let you know also that there's going to be a lot of resources in the YouTube description box. I'm going to attach some PDF packets for a ton of ideas for free or low cost summer things to do. Now is the prime time to go out and about and find these deals. So here are just some of the ideas for things around San Diego specifically that can really help for family time and find things to do together. So there's Balboa Park Twilight Concerts. There's the International Summer Organ Festival. There's the Old Town. Always go to Old Town San Diego and check out some of the things there. It's always a fun place to walk around. You can go to the Barona and Sycuan powwows. And look out for art walks around San Diego also. And even just going around different places in San Diego County that maybe you don't go to very often. It could be a drive out to Julian, out to the mountains. Could be going to the beach a little bit more. So just exploring around different parts of San Diego is really fun. There's also parks after dark, which are just different like events and nights happening around different rec centers in the community. And they'll have a lot of activities and crafts and resources for the family. And also now's the time for summer movies in the park. So if you look up some of your local parks, they'll actually be screening movies on different dates. And so again, there are going to be packets with a lot of this information in the description box below, so you can find areas closer to where you're living, where you're at that are more convenient, or use an excuse to explore a new part of town. And now, since it is summertime and heating up, also important to know where some of these cool zones are. So maybe hanging out in a hot home is not the answer for you. No problem. Some cool zones for you and the family can help you stay cool and healthy during the summer. The biggest ones to go to are libraries, city and county libraries. There's also a lot of community centers, senior centers, and indoor malls are great too, right? Gives us a place to walk around, find some things, snack on some things, and stay cool. And again, there's going to be a list provided with a lot of different organizations that are dedicated to cool zones. And if you do have an animal, just be sure to check out their specific location, that specific location's pet policy, and just more information on like the hours that are available for the cool zones. And now also wanted to go over some San Diego resources. So this is the summer food service program. And so the requirements for this are that a family has to have children under 18. And the idea of it is that you will get 1 week's worth of meals that can be either eaten there or taken home. And it does say that parents can pick up meals without the kids present. Most of these are first come, first served basis. So just be sure to check before going and try to get there earlier if you're able to. And always check for changes in the sites, days, and times before going. But they have dedicated locations all around San Diego County, whether it's at Julian Elementary or certain libraries and community centers. And there'll be certain days and times for the pickups. So again, this will be linked in the description box below, just for more information on where to find some great summer meals. Another great resource to know about is restaurants where kids can eat free. So there's going to be a list linked for 18 restaurants that kids can eat free at. And again, I would check in with the restaurant beforehand to confirm. A lot of these only offer kids eat free on certain days and times and might have certain purchase requirements. So you might be required to eat or to spend $10 on a meal, and then a child can also eat free. But I will include that below. And there also might be age requirements or limits per table. So a lot of these are about 12 years old and under. Some of them might be a little different. And some of them do have a certain limit, like maybe only 2 to 3 children per table. But again, check in with each place individually before going, just to see what they offer. So now here's just a quick summary on work-life balance. So remember the reasons you're working towards a better work-life balance, right? Because that's going to help keep you motivated and encourage you to continue working towards your goals. Consistently evaluate what you want or what you need to do for that balance. So prioritize the tasks that you need to do, which ones can wait, and also what things that are out there that bring you joy and help you feel more balanced and de-stressed. Also remember, a healthy balance helps not only yourself, but it also helps the people around you. I know for me, if I'm stressed from an unhealthy work-life balance, I will get a little more irritated, a little more cranky, and that definitely affects the people around me. So a healthy balance is good for everyone. Lastly, utilize all these summertime resources to help balance time with family and alleviate stress. So I hope some of these resources can take the stress out of deciding places to go, things to do, where to get food, or especially during the summertime with the kids out of school. And like I said earlier, all of this information provided is going to be in the YouTube description box below. There's going to be links that will lead you to 50 plus free summer things to do, parks after dark, summer activities in San Diego, summer movies in the park, cool zones, free summer meals, restaurants where kids eat free, and then also we're including a few other things. There's going to be a City of San Diego fee waiver program that can, if you qualify based off of your income, you can get free recreation, aquatic, or dance programs, depending on your eligibility through the city. There's also Every Kid Outdoors, which is a really neat program through the Forest Service and the Department of Agriculture, that if you have a fourth grader specifically, they can actually get a pass online to get a free voucher for that child and the family in order to visit some of the parks around California and to Southern California. So check that out online for more information. And then the San Diego Swing Cat Street Fairs is a whole list of street fairs around San Diego County. And again, just a really fun thing to do with the family and get the kids out and about and staying busy. Otherwise, thank you for joining our Momentum 3.3 workshop. And please remember to fill out the survey in the YouTube description box below, especially if you're trying to get hours for Tribal TANF. That survey helps us to know that you've completed the hours, and we can help communicate that with your caseworker. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next one.